Welcome to This Week in the PNFL. I'm your host, Mark Hill, and along with me is Mitch Grawl and Dean Chambers. How you doing, fellas?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Doing awesome. So we have week 2 in the books. We had an upset. We had an overtime game. More kickers missing kicks. I think we had a little bit of everything this week. So, couple of upsets in the lead pipe locks. Um, no, no upsets. Yeah, I'd say one upset in lead pipe lock. So we're gonna go through all of that and
Curses so.
do what now?
Those lead pipe locks, the lead pipe curses so far.
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much. We'll get into that in a little bit later. So, well, yeah, this is where we're at right now. So hopefully, we're gonna do a great show for you guys today. I think there's gonna be a lot of our mid topic. We have a couple items that one item we're gonna talk about. Then we may just kick around some other stuff. So, and then we're gonna head into the week 3 games. So, if you guys are ready, we are going to kick this off right now. First game on the docket for this week, we have New England hosting Indy, and New England showed up, and they showed up big, winning 38-10. We are going to start off with Dean. Dean.
Yeah, I'm good.
He's still in shock of New England winning by 28 points. He's getting his thoughts together again.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that just doesn't make sense. I didn't expect that. But
You know, dead air is deadly on
Yeah,
the show,
yeah.
right? You know
Yeah,
that. So
you're killing us, man.
you're killing us over here. I gotta play Jeopardy music or something.
when are you looking to start on this one?
All right. Well, I tell you what. I was shocked that New England won by this much. Not shocked that they won, but shocked that it was a 28-point spread. Was very happy to see Gerard Evans, one of my old draft picks, winning player of the game, winning player of the week. That's one of my regrets. I should have never let him go. But did a great job leading this team, 3 touchdown passes out there for New England and Indianapolis. Man, after that little playoff run last year, has really started out the gates stumbling, tripping out the starting gate here. So we'll see if they can get it back together. But that's my thoughts. Dean, what do you think?
Yeah, New England had over 400 yards of offense in this game, which, some weeks their offense last season was pretty good and some weeks it was not too good. 75% on third down conversions, that's pretty good as well. And they controlled the ball for over 32 minutes, so pretty solid offensive effort, and their defense played very well. And, you definitely didn't expect that against Indianapolis, but not sure what happened with Indianapolis. They only scored 10 points. They gave up 38. And, that's the same New England team that scored 24 points in the fourth quarter against my team last season. So, sometimes they're capable of doing that. And, I remember your comment in that game when they scored 24, you said, was that Tom Brady out there throwing the ball for them?
Maybe. I don't know. But
yeah, but definitely a solid win.
Yeah.
Okay. Next game that we have on the list is Jacksonville going against Anaheim, and Anaheim, surprising us, Shuggy is now 2-0. So we are going to start now with Dean.
Yeah, this game was, I guess the biggest thing is that Anaheim, the Rams played excellent defense, only giving it 10 points. They only scored a single touchdown and kicked 3 field goals, but that's more than enough to win when your defense only gives up 10 points. Each team had, 231 to 230 total yards. it translated to 16 points, a win by 2 field goals by Anaheim, and that was enough to get it done. And the Rams are surprisingly, after being one of the weaker teams of last year, new coach, new approach, new attitude, and new start, 2-0.
Okay. Mitch, what do you got?
Yeah, no, well, I mean, I would say neither offense really showed up for this game. Combined 25 first downs. That's man. Like Dean said, I think combined 461 yards. The thing that gets me here, and this jumped out last year too. Jacksonville goes for every fourth down. Every fourth down. They were 1 of 3 on third downs this game. 5 of 8. 8 fourth down attempts. So basically, 5 of their 13 first downs came on fourth down, which means they are not doing anything in those first three downs of their drives. And so, I picked Jacksonville to win this game. They got beat. And I question whether they'll win a game this season. They might go 0-16.
Not only did they kick and go for a lot of fourth downs, but I remember one point in the game, they were definitely in the red zone, and it would have been a very short, it should have been automatic field goal. They went for that too.
Yeah. They might go 0-16. I mean, I hate to say that, but yeah.
That was ugly, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Next game we have up. We have the New York Jets. This past season's champion going against the champion from 2 seasons ago, LA. And New York ended up taking this one 20-10. We're going to start with you, Mitch.
Well, the Jets are on a mission, Mark. They're on a mission to repeat the Super Bowl champion. No, just poking some fun. No, there's another kind of defensive battle here. Not that you wouldn't expect that. I mean, these 2 teams have been playing each other tough the last couple of seasons. Particularly in the playoffs, and so. I wasn't surprised that it was a pretty tight game. Ultimately, the New York Jets defense, which we've talked about before, probably the most talented or one of the most talented defenses that's out there, completely shut down Kaiser and just kind of controlled the game. But way to go, New York.
All right, Dean, what do you got?
Yeah, I had predicted the upset in this game, but that's right. I'm not going to say they're on a mission. I mean, they played it. They're doing well, and they will do well this season as usual. But the Jets played pretty solid all around, and they held Deshaun Kaiser to 42% of his passing. The Chargers aren't going to win with those kinds of numbers. So it doesn't surprise me. Even though I thought there would be an upset in this game, and it would have been an upset if the Chargers had won, but it didn't happen. The Jets did what they're supposed to, what they usually do, and they won.
Okay. Good win. Next up, we have Kansas City hosting Minnesota, and Kansas City taking this one 31-22. Dean, what you got on this one?
Yeah, this is another game where I predicted the upset, but Kansas City played some good, solid offense, over 400 yards of offense. How the Minnesota quarterback was the player of the game, I don't know. Maybe because the algorithm, whatever, decided had to pick a quarterback, and 2 interceptions by Baker Mayfield didn't do it. I don't know. You would think. Maybe Kansas City's running back might have been player of the game. I don't know. But solid win for Kansas City, the 2-0 going into the big matchup this weekend. And part of the way they did it, not only solid defense and only giving up the 22 points, 39 minutes and 9 seconds of time of possession.
Oh, wow. All right. Mitch, what you got?
Yeah, well, another battle between me and Barney. Those are always fun. We get together a couple of times a season. Here's a trivia question for everybody. What team right now is 2-0, yet the player of those games for both of those wins were the opponent's quarterback? I'll give you 2 seconds. That's right, Kansas City. So somehow or another, yes, I have allowed the opponent's quarterback to win player of the game, but yet I have been able to win both games. So we'll take it, and we'll be happy with it. But I would say the highlight to me for this game was the fact that I was able to make a 25-yard field goal. Here in the rain, so that means I've got progress, I think, going on. But in all seriousness, Baker seemed to have a little tough time in the rain, but the rain did not hamper my three-headed monster in the backfield. So was glad to see the running game was able to pick it up. But as always, B and Barney will battle again here in a few weeks. So.
Are you predicting Dak Prescott as a player of the game this coming week?
Yeah, as long as I win, I don't care who gets player of the game. Yeah, Dak can be player of the game as long as I get the win. That's right. Yeah, I'll let him have that. Yeah. So.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Next game, we have Las Vegas going into Detroit. That was riding high off of their win last week. But they ended up bringing them. Vegas ended up bringing them back down to earth as Vegas walked out with a 33-11 victory. Mitch, what you got?
Well, number one, congratulations to LA bouncing back from a tough loss in week one. But I mean, I was telling y'all pre-show here. This right here, this is the reason why you don't cut your kickers. Matt McCrane, player of the game, 6 for 6 in field goals. I drafted this guy a few seasons back when we still had the salary cap because I didn't want to pay my kicker. He went on to win Rookie of the Year or something, I think, that year as a kicker. I cut him last year, or didn't re-sign him to pick up this other guy that had much better ratings, and now I can't hit the broadside of a barn when I kick a ball, but this guy's going 6 for 6. So all this does is make me mad and say I should never let this guy go, so I'll leave it at that and say congratulations to Las Vegas. So, Dean, you'll have to fill in on what happened here.
Yeah, win by the Raiders, and look who started for the Raiders. The young quarterback that Detroit traded to the Raiders, and I don't know that anyone knows what the logic of that trade was when he obtained that player from San Francisco. I think we all thought, well, Detroit has a starting quarterback long term. Then he trades him to Las Vegas.
Yeah, I think he's like the highest or second highest potential quarterback in the league, isn't he?
I think so.
He was a fourth-round player that was boosted. I mean, he's very good.
Yeah, but I think his potentials are, at least on my board, I think he's number one potentials for quarterbacks.
And I think this is his first start in Las Vegas, and he did fairly well. And, his offense scored 33 points. Again, over 400 yards of offense, 35 minutes time of possession. Detroit didn't stand much of a chance.
And hey, the kicker would have won the game 18-11 though by himself. So,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Ugh.
All right. Moving on.
They're going to win some games this season.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have New York Giants hosting the Atlanta Falcons, and much higher scoring game than the previous one. But New York ended up walking away with a 42-30 victory. Mitch, you're up.
Well, I spoiled Dean's lead pipe lock when I beat Minnesota. Well, I picked Atlanta to beat New York, so Dean repaid the favor and threw the game against New York. So thanks a lot, Dean. No, this was a pretty entertaining game there. Lots of points, lots of offense. The Atlanta offense definitely came alive through the air this game. And I was actually just a little bit surprised that New York was able to, muster as many points. When you look at the stat lines, you go, how in the world did they get 42 points? And, Barkley only gained 48 yards rushing, and yet they were able to get the 42 points. Well, 3 turnovers by Atlanta will definitely help that out. So I'm sure that's something that Dean's going to be working on here over the week. But I'll let Dean fill in the gaps here.
The Giants had some pretty big kickoff returns and set up some scores as well, and the turnover set. Teams usually get some pretty good momentum when they recover a turnover or get one in their favor. Mm-hmm. And the Giants played much better in the second half. The first half was 24-16 score, and I remember that 10 of those 16 points were off of turnovers. But then in the second half, the Giants had a couple really, really good. I believe one of them might have been actually returned for a touchdown or returned almost for a touchdown. Another returned it into like the 20s or 30s in field position. And the Giants' passing game was pretty effective. I mean, I just remember seemed like my pass defense wasn't stopping anything in the second half. And my offense only, it's 24 to 16. So my offense only produced 6 points. I believe that might have been a couple of field goals in the second half, which most of the times that isn't going to win a game to do that in the second half. So this game for my team was just an absolute disaster.
Yep. All right.
Or I'm surprised you didn't quote Coach Prime and say hot garbage on some of that. But
yeah, hot garbage.
It would have been appropriate. I mean, I said it's a good win. I said, I see you did a really nice job of implementing Coach Prime's game plan.
Or like Coach Prime said, you better get me now. You better get me now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next game we have Washington hosting San Francisco. I guess my question would be, what happened to San Francisco's offense as Washington walked away with a 21-9 victory? Dean, what you got?
Yeah, I think we're going to be talking about that, and I think we're going to be talking more about Washington than San Francisco. Washington played pretty solid defense, and I believe that 9 points that 9 points that San Francisco scored a field goal, so they kept the 49ers out of the end zone. They got into the end zone 3 times themselves in the process. And, oh, wow, look at that. The Washington kicker was 0 for 2, but that doesn't matter when you score 3 touchdowns and only give up 3 field goals. Right. And just solid win by 36 minutes for 36 and a half minutes of time of possession. That helped a lot too. They went 2 and 2 for 4th down, 8 of 16 for 3rd down. So just pretty solid overall effort by the Redskins. And I think we're going to see more of that this season. I think Washington will be the team that's on a mission this season. After having good seasons the last 2 seasons and losing in the playoffs, I think Washington is on a mission this season.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're definitely going to be trying to make some noise as well. So, next game that we have. Oh, wait a minute. We got Mitch up next on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you don't care about my opinion.
Oh, don't start. That's the first time I've done that this season.
Oh, my gosh.
Don't even start.
You're shortchanging your process.
Yeah, no, exactly. Golly.
Oh, my goodness. See there?
I need a safe space now.
Hey,
I need a safe space.
You need a safe space to go. You need a teddy bear to cuddle up with, too.
I need to, yeah. Okay. No, I'll tell you, it's San Francisco, and granted, it's only 2 games, right? So no need to panic or what have you. But at least after the first 2 games, this looks like one of those. Last year, San Francisco, had kind of a bounce back year. Now it looks like they're on track for a down year. And that's been kind of San Francisco really the last 10 or 12 seasons, ever since their last Super Bowl appearance. It's, 1 year pretty good, the next year not 1 year pretty. And so, we'll see. But man, they're going to have to get a lot more out of that offense than what they've got in these first two games. Now, granted, they just play two of the better defensive coaches in the league. So, like I said, it's early, but yeah, it's a rough go in San Francisco when it on the offensive side for sure.
Yep, definitely. Next game we have much closer game. This one here I would call probably was um, this I would say it's effectively projected as an upset by the team that lost and by the spread. We have New Orleans going into Chi-Town to play Chicago, and they went in and upset Chicago by the score of 24-21. Mitch, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, whenever Chicago loses, particularly in the regular season, it's a bit of a surprise, but not exactly shocked. I think coming off that big win week 1, going against New Orleans after that tough loss to Atlanta. I don't know how motivated Chicago was this week, and New Orleans. That's a team. We talked about being on the mission. I think they liked being in the playoffs a couple of seasons ago, and well, Coach Perez always has something cooking. So when you're in a tough defensive game like this was, both teams under 300 yards, turnovers obviously become a big factor, and Chicago had 2 turnovers, and New Orleans, had none. So I think that obviously had made, I think, tilted the scale a little bit.
Yeah, I would say so. So Dean, what do you got?
Yeah, this was definitely the upset of the weekend. It surprised me. I expected Chicago to win and cover the spread, but I know they've had a couple turnovers, and turnovers are very costly. And the Saints were able to capitalize enough and play well enough to win, and they did. And it remains to be seen whether the Saints will play this well against other teams. But if they do, they should have a really good shot at making postseason this season.
Yep, I agree. Last game that we have on the docket for week
Game of the week right here, man.
for
Game of the
week
week. The
two.
thriller.
I don't know if you want to call it all of that. It was a tale of two halves. I'll tell you that much. We have Pittsburgh hosting Seattle, and this one went into overtime with Pittsburgh taking the victory 26-20. Dean, what do you got?
Yeah, when it goes into overtime, it can go either way. In this case, it looks like each team had one turnover, a little more time in possession in favor of Seattle, but it often seems like the team that comes from behind to tie it up and go into overtime usually has the momentum in overtime. And in this case, you see that happen, and Pittsburgh ended up scoring in overtime, and winning this game. Tough loss for Seattle, though. I mean, and again, we're going to talk about this. A lot of missed field goals were very detrimental here in Seattle's hopes of winning this game.
Yep. Mitch, go for it.
Oh, I wasn't sure if if it was Mark Hill coaching at this game or Benny Hill. The way the second half went there, with for both teams, particularly in the kicking game. If the audience, if you have not watched this game, I really encourage you all to go and watch this game. I mean, it was, especially that second half, fourth quarter. That was pretty crazy. I mean, we had, opening, I think opening score with a blocked extra point, and then we had. Pittsburgh, tie it come out of nowhere really and tie the game in the closing seconds, and then basically slice the extra point overtime. We had Seattle, get field goal range and miss the kick to win it. I mean, Man, it was pretty funny. I just that Benny
Yeah,
Hill
funny
music
for
just
some,
comes to
painful
mind.
for others.
Yeah, that Benny Hill music just comes to mind. But I mean, I did first half. I was thinking, man, Seattle's fixing to blow these guys out. But then about halfway through the fourth quarter, um, Pittsburgh just got hot. Deshaun Watson got hot. They couldn't drop anything, and if it wasn't for that missed extra point at the end of the game, they would have won it in regulation. But fun game. Zach Wilson actually lit it up. Watson lit it up. So it was fun. I encourage everyone, if you have not watched it in its entirety, to go watch it.
Yes.
Yes. And I gotta say, Seattle is still the only team uh, to not make a field goal this season. So just FYI.
Yes.
They had to put that in there. Had to get that salt put in there for you.
I remember when I drafted him, and I had a good kicker that was there prior, but I wanted to go younger with some better stats. And what comes up is that song, "The Lonesome Kicker." It's like, dude, you only got one job. But on the flip side, like most coaches would say, that's too much pressure to put on the kicker. If everybody else would have done their job, then it would never have to come down to the kicker. But on the other side, it's like, okay, the kickers usually they know they have one job. So they want to be the hero. So it's like, dude, you had a chance to be the hero and you didn't. So it's like, what the heck? So it's just one of those things that you have to deal with. I got to go back to the drawing board. I look at the two games that was played this season, and if it wasn't for the kicker missing field goals, I could have won both of them. But then again, I should not have to put him in that situation. So we got more work to do over
Hey,
there.
Mark. As we talked about last year on some of our shows, you're the best 0-2 team out there, man. The best 0-2 team.
Moving on. Moving on.
Breaking news. Here's some breaking news before we get a second segment. Rich's Sportsbooks has released the lines, so we have those when we get to the third segment. They're in email.
Yes,
The lines
I
are
do have those. Oh, and for you guys out there, yeah, I know that I've heard some private messages like, dude, what the heck's going on with the show? But we are doing the show on Monday. So right now, all the other elements that go into the show are about 80% complete. We do have a new videographer, Mr. Corbett, so we are waiting to get his stuff done. So once he gets those in, I currently see I have two files or two video highlights loaded already. So as of this recording, so hopefully we can get the rest of them in and get it pushed out to you guys quickly. So
So that's basically that's why you brought Steve on. So now you can blame him for the show being late.
oh
Is that
no
what it
no
is?
no no no. See what you guys
Okay.
don't know is I'll tease it a little bit. We might have a surprise for you guys this week. Um, I'm not going to go into detail until the concrete dries, but I think we may have a little surprise for you guys this week. So
You
hopefully you
actually you
guys
actually booked. Did you actually book Taylor Swift to be on the show with us?
and Kelsey.
Oh, geez,
Yeah.
nice.
So yep.
I knew you were working on
Yep,
something
yep. We
big.
got the
I mean, you can't get
We
bigger
got the
than that right
Swifties
now.
coming. That's right. We got the Swifty Nation
Oh
coming.
man,
So
that's awesome.
there you go.
I'm glad Steve has joined to kind of take some of that load off of you because pretty soon we're going to have to name the show the week before last in the PNFL. So I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
good.
Those footprints in the concrete, are those Mitch's footprints? He
Do what
walked
now?
across the concrete, right? The footprints in the concrete, are those Mitch's footprints?
Yeah,
Mike,
those are Mitch's footprints.
That's right.
And there's a saying in there saying that, it's honored to be, I'm honored to be on the field with my opponent
Yeah.
this week, stealing Lou
It's like
Holtz's quote.
It's like yeah. Is that like the PNFL Walk of Fame? My
Yeah,
footprints there.
pretty much. You know. Mm-mm-mm. But they're toddler footprints and toddler
Ah,
handprints.
gotcha. That's why I keep fumbling in the rain, I guess.
There you go. All right,
Oh,
we're gonna jump in this middle segment here, guys. So as discussed when we were going through the games this week and actually going through the games last week, there have been a lot of field goals that should have been made but haven't. I don't know. I haven't really dug into what the numbers were each season as far as what the percentages have been every year the past several years. But from what I can see from just these first 2 weeks, there's been a lot of field goals that have been missed from all ranges. Extra points, same thing. Some of them were blocked. A lot of them were just shanked. So we're going to kind of kick this around a little bit. We talked pre-show about the three attributes, which is basically your strength, discipline, and intelligence, as far as what you need for in your kicker. So we're going to talk about that a little bit and kind of try to unpack this a little bit and figure out what the heck's going on with the kickers this season. So we're going to go ahead and start with, I think we'll go with the numbers guy. We'll start with Mitch on this, and then we will go into the
yeah.
analysis with Dean.
No, sure. Well, when you look at it, and I don't know if it's necessarily that that more kicks are being missed this year than others, but I swear when you're watching these games, when the kicks are missed, it just seems like they are in just the worst time for the team that's trying to make that kick. But when I look at the numbers here, we well, not counting teams that have only attempted one field goal, because I think we've got 4 teams that have only attempted one field goal, but teams like Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Anaheim, have all Las Vegas is 6 for 6 in field goals this year. Anaheim, they went for field goals, they wouldn't score. It's basically, they're 7 for 7. They're 7 for 7. You got LA that's 3 for 3. San Francisco 3 for 3. Then you got LA Atlanta 4 of 5, but the only one they missed was over 50. And you got the Jets 3 of 4, with again the only one they missed over 50. But at the same time, and again, not counting ones that only had one attempt, you got Seattle 0 for 3, New Orleans 2 of 5, Washington 2 of 5. And then you've got, Detroit, the Giants, KC, all like 2 for 3 or 1 for 2. And again, my kicker, KC, if it's over 40 yards, he can't hit the broadside of a barn over 40 yards. That's the same thing for Washington. So I noticed last year, since it was well documented about some of my kicking issues, where I think my kicker under 40 yards was, I don't know, like 12 or 13, 13 or 14, something like that. But over 40 yards, I mean, he was, like 5 of 12 or something like that. It was ridiculous. And so it makes you wonder, okay, what is the algorithm, or what's the formula, when a kicker, when you're trying to kick a ball over 40? There must be something that makes an impact, because when you look across, where we've seen the misses, it's either under 20, so the ones where we got the ball inside the 5, which that is always like flipping a coin. But then if it's 40 plus, I mean, it again, other than Anaheim, is a coin toss for most teams, because I'm looking across the board here: Seattle 0 for 2, Washington 0 for 2, KC and the Jets 0 for 1. Both. So it's, I don't know, it's kind of crazy, and I'm not really sure how to impact it, as far as how to, because I've got one of the higher rated kickers. I've tried multiple different formations last year, and this year as well, and I really can't figure out how to make an impact. But maybe Shuggy and Neil have must have the secret sauce on the kicking game, because so far, they've done all right. I mean, Shuggy is 3 of 3 over 40 yards, so he's got something figured out. But I don't know, Dean, what do you think?
It's easy. Shuggy and Neil both and figured out that they had the kicker with the better hitting rating. The
There
kicker's
you go.
good hitting rating are kicking all the.
They must have that Sunbee hidden rating utility that we don't have. That must be what it is.
He didn't release it to the public. That's what,
No.
that's what kept under wraps. You know,
Had to pay the extra money to get that one, I guess.
the deep state won't allow that to be released to the public.
Ah, okay.
You
So
know that, right?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the hidden rate.
That's what Trump had at Mar-a-Lago was the Sunbee hidden rating utility.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he did, and it's now only viewable in a skiff.
Oh, it's only viewable in the skiff now, and you got to leave your phones and everything else with all your electronic devices before you go into it.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah. Highly secured and confidential, and all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So I think we've kicked this around a little bit. Like I said, I've noticed that the numbers, the misses are much higher than in season past. It's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out. And definitely Chuggy got something going on, and gotta find out what that is he's using and apply it to your kickers if you're having kicking issues. So we're gonna go ahead.
Kickers in the free agent pool that have the good hidden rating.
Right.
Shut the fuck up.
Now, I mean, well, okay. One last thing I want to bring up before we move on to the next section. Now, looking at the three attributes again, it's strength, discipline, intelligence. If out of those three attributes for both of you guys, you had to pick one, what is your most important attribute first in a kicker?
You would think intelligence, but probably discipline.
yeah. Because I think that's what's going to. Well, that's what you would, expect that would impact the accuracy. Kind of like, because I mean that's what I think discipline impacts accuracy for quarterbacks, right? So it's to impact the completion percentage and interceptions. I would think it would have something to do with that accuracy for the kickers. That's my thought anyway.
So the intelligence would deal with the wind. Well, I mean, one of them had to be like, okay, I got to read the conditions. Is it wind blowing left to right to left? I'm thinking one would be doing that, and the other one is the accuracy. So discipline would be the accuracy.
Yeah, I think the strength only helps them kick longer, but I mean, they can kick the ball 60 yards, but if it's not accurate, it's wide left or wide right.
Mm-hmm.
Even on like a 50-yard field goal, the 50-yard field goal was a miss, the kick was wide. We'll say. Right. So
I don't know. At this point, I feel like it might as well just flip a coin. If you're under 20 yards or over 40, just flip a coin. I have no idea.
All right. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out the rest of the season. So definitely got to take a look at it. So moving into our last segment here, as you guys know, each one of us has a lead pipe lock, and we have one very interesting game coming up this week. So we're going to run down the games real quick and then wrap this up. First game on the list for week 3 is the New York Jets going into Indy to play the Colts. Rich's Sportsbooks has a 13.5-point spread, and they are projecting the Jets to win this one. We are going to start with you, Dean.
You said there was one very interesting game. Didn't you get the memo that said officially from the league office that all our games are interesting?
Oh, yes, but there's some that are more interesting than others. As I was told last season, you all can't win. You all can't make the playoffs. So some are going to make it, some are not. So all the games are going to be interesting, but some are going to be better than others. So,
but politically correct to say that all our games are interesting.
Yes. Some, yeah.
But everybody said,
I don't know. Have you watched all those games, D? Did you watch that Anaheim game, this past Jacksonville game?
Oh, you're gonna hear from those coaches this week.
Yeah.
there's different definitions of what consists of being interesting. So in
Yes.
this game, the Colts are definitely going to want to rebound and win, but, I think it's kind of a bad luck of the draw when you come off a loss and then you realize, oh, we have to play the Jets this coming weekend, and the Jets are favored by 13.5. And I think they're probably going to win and cover. I'm going to say the Jets are going to win.
All right, Mitch, what do you got?
Yeah, didn't the Jets already beat Indianapolis by 26 in week 1 or something like that? I can't remember, but Jets are going to win this, and yeah, no doubt on that one. Jets are going to win, and unfortunately for Indy, that's going to put them 0-3 to start the season with, I think, 3 divisional losses. That's going to be tough to overcome.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough hill to climb. In agreement with you guys. I'm gonna take the Jets on this one as well. I think they're gonna keep that train rolling. So next game we have is a pick'em game, and I actually think this has a potential to be a real good game. We have New England going in to play Pittsburgh. The Sporting Books basically has it as a pick'em game. So we are going to start with Mitch on this one.
Well, I think I picked Mox to win last week.
Yes, you did.
Had a big game. Yeah, had a big game. So you know what? Let me ride the Mox train again. He's 2-0. Pretty much have identical stats as the Jets. So let's see if we can keep it going this week. I'll go with the Pats.
All right, Dean, what do you got?
I think this will only be a good game if you're a Steelers fan. I think Pittsburgh is going to win this game. Not necessarily a lot, maybe by about a touchdown, but I think Pittsburgh will be the better team in this game and will win.
I have to agree that I think this is definitely going to be an entertaining game. This one is this is a challenging one to pick. I think
That's why it's a pick 'em.
I think I'm going to go with. They're both one
Flip
and
a
one.
coin. It's a pick 'em game. Just flip a coin.
I'm going to go with New England on this one. I'm going to go with Coach Mox on this one. And I'm pushing in all my chips on this one as well. I'm going to call this one.
Oh, man.
I'm going to call this one as a pick. Come on, you got to have fun. I'm gonna call this one as my pick'em game as well because it is definitely, it's my lead pipe lock. This is definitely a 50, as I say, it's a 50-50 ball. So yeah, you want to roll the dice, roll them hard. So I'm gonna go with New England and going with them as my lead pipe lock this week. So, next game we have Jacksonville going out to the desert to go play Las Vegas. The spread is 4.5, and the sports books are picking Vegas. Dean, what do you got?
Yeah, I think on this one, the Raiders are at home and they're playing Jacksonville, and a team that, as Mitch said, could possibly go 0-16. And the Raiders are coming off a solid win, but there will not be a letdown here. Raiders are going to win and cover, probably win by at least a touchdown, maybe more.
Okay, who are you going with now?
The Raiders are winning.
Raiders. Okay. Raiders. Mitch, what do you got?
I say go with the Raiders, put in for that third mortgage, and put it as a lead pipe lock.
Okay, he has his chips all pushed in on that one. Mm, I'll ride with you guys as well. I'm going with Vegas as well. Um, I think it'll be it. I think the spread's accurate as well. I think it's going to be yeah, going with the Raiders. Next game we have Minnesota hosting the Chargers. They are giving the Chargers 6.5 on this one. Mitch, what do you got?
Oh man. I mean, this is the second time in 3 weeks these teams have played, and so that's it's usually. I mean, it's tough to repeat winning when you play that soon. But I'm going to go with Minnesota, basically because I just think Barney is going to be highly motivated to not go 0-3 and be 0-3 in the division. So this he knows his season is likely on the line here. So I'm going to go with Barney in Minnesota.
All right. Dean, what do you got?
Well, I think you know who the one AFC team is that poses the strongest challenge to the Jets and going to the Super Bowl. And given what happened last week, they're going to be highly motivated. So, this is the one you want to bet your money on. Take out the third mortgage. Bet the money in your children's college fund. Any of that stuff, and bet on the Chargers to beat Minnesota at Minnesota. Chargers lead pipe lock win this week.
Ho ho ho. Okay, even the college fund. That's some confidence there. Uh
Yes.
I'm gonna split the baby on this one and break it up. I'm gonna pick the Chargers on this one. Um, I think Steve is going to show out, and I'll take the spread on that one as well. So going with Chargers on that one. Next game. This is going to be an entertaining one. Even though the books don't call for it, but we have KC going into the nice confines of a dome down in Georgia to take on Atlanta. The sports books are giving Kansas City a 8.5 point spread. So we are going to start out with the host, and then we're going to switch to the visitors. So, Dean, what do you got on this game this week?
Well, the first thing I can say is you can toss that spread straight into the trash can. It's going to be a close game. Matter of fact, it's going to be an overtime game. This game is going to. This is going to be so good a game. 4 quarters is not enough. We're going to play 5 quarters, and we're going to roll into that overtime period. And Kansas City is going to get into scoring range and of a field goal, and that overrated kicker is going to step up and kick it wide. And then a few plays later, the lower rated by skill ratings kicker on the Falcons is going to step up and kick about a 45-yarder right through the uprights. There's your game by 3.
Okay, Babe Ruth. You calling your shot on that one.
Yeah, right field goal.
All right. Mitch, what do you got?
Well, I'm just humbled to be able to play a Super Bowl
I should have said Coach
from a couple
Holtz.
of years ago,
Uh-huh.
and be able to go into a dome where it won't be raining is always going to be nice after playing a couple of rain games. And Dean and I, we always have fun games. Some are a little closer than others, and I'm sure Dean is going to bring his best game, and I'll bring mine. And I won't be a Pete Rose, so I'm going to go with KC. But like I said, and more than likely, Dak Prescott wins Player of the Game, and if that's the case, I'll probably win. So it's all good. So we'll see what happens.
And don't be surprised if a lot of the fans throw water balloons at you to make you feel like it's raining. But don't do that because I didn't.
Well, being in Atlanta, there probably won't be any fans that show up anyways.
Water balloons and super soakers. There you go.
Uh,
Yeah,
I think this is going to be an entertaining game. I know both of you guys. We've talked offline. Pre-show and just in general. I know both of you guys do a lot of studying and do your preparing for your games real well. So I think it just comes down to maybe one or two plays. With that being said, um, I think the spread is overblown for this game just by how you guys play and how you plan them out. So I'm looking for that hidden stadium home field rating to come out. And I'm calling for the upset. I'm calling for Atlanta to take this game. It'll be a much tighter spread than what is posted. And I think it's going to be a fun, entertaining game. But I'm giving the slight nod to Atlanta on this one. So
I can see score 37-34.
I could see that. I could see that. I could even see it being in the 20s, 24-27. Like I said, I know you guys already do a lot of hard work as far as your planning, but I think you guys are going to put in a little extra work this week. So I definitely think it's going to be a very fun, entertaining game. So next game, we have the New York Giants hosting Washington, and they are giving Washington 9.5. Mitch, what do you got?
well, when you look at a game between the Giants and the Commanders, you gotta, you can throw the record books out the window. But I think Jerry is on a heater, and I think he's going to bring the heat and slow down that Giant offense. I'm going to go with the Redskins. Not even Commander. We're going with the Redskins.
All right. Dean, what do you got?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty solid Giants team that could very well make the playoffs again this season. But the Redskins are on a mission, so Washington is going to win and cover the spread in this game.
Okay. I agree with you guys. I will keep this one short, sweet, simple. I'm going to agree with you and go with Washington on this game as well. Excuse me. Next game, we have Detroit hosting Chicago. Both teams, I think both of them lost last week, if I'm not mistaken. Chicago was upset, and Detroit lost their game. So they are giving Chicago 13.5. Dean, what do you have?
Well, I think the one time you don't want to play Chicago is after they get upset the previous week. So this is real simple. The Cardinals win, cover the spread they win by at least 2 touchdowns, cover the spread.
All right. Mitch.
Yeah, Chicago's going to win this, and they'll win it handily.
All right. Just like when you play Alabama, if Alabama loses the week before, God help the next team that follows in the following week after a loss. I'm going to go with Chicago as well. I think they're going to get back on track, and they're going to take that loss out on somebody, and that somebody is Detroit. Next game, we have San Francisco hosting New Orleans. They are actually giving New Orleans 7.5 on this one. Mitch, what do you got?
Nothing says that shouldn't happen based on those first 2 games. Yeah, I'm taking New Orleans.
Okay. Dean, what do you got?
Yeah, I think for the 49ers, the arrow is pointing down. For the Saints, it's pointing up. And even despite that spread, I think the Saints will win and cover.
Okay. I will agree with you guys as well. Um, Looking at this, I think it's I don't know what's going on out in Frisco. Hopefully, they will keep this going when I play them later on during the season. So I'm gonna go with New Orleans on this one as well. Last game for week 3. We have Anaheim hosting Seattle. They are, despite Anaheim having a 2-0 start to the season, and as Mitch mentioned pre-show, one touchdown in each game. They are calling for this as a pick'em game. So we are going to start this last one off with Dean.
Yeah, I think it was recognized in this being rated a pick'em game. The Rams are the surprising, for many anyway, 2-0 team. The Seahawks are probably weren't expected to be 0-2, and they're definitely the strongest 0-2 team in the league. So you put that all in the mix, and you get a pick'em game. This is going to be a close game. This is going to be extremely close. It could be an overtime game, or it could be decided by 1 or 2 points in regulation. I think the latter is more likely, but I think the Rams have proven that their defense is playing very well, and they're holding teams to, somewhere between 10 and 13 points. And that's not good news for the Seahawks, who have struggled a bit at times on offense. So this is going to be very close, but I give a slight edge to the home team. I think the Rams will win this by 1 or 2 points.
All right. Mitch, what do you got?
Dude, you lose this one. I don't know where you're going to find to win this year, so I'm going to pick Seattle. I think you've got to win this one to get things back on track.
All right. So, obviously, as Mitch said earlier, I am not a Pete Rose, so I have to go with my Hawks on this one. A lot of work to do, a lot of things to fix in all 3 phases, and figure out what the heck is going on with the special teams play. So obviously, I got to pick my team to win this and get that first victory of the season.
Does Pete Rose ever get rehabilitated from that?
He bet against his team.
Is he still banned?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
is he going to be banned?
You bet against your team. Was he a player or a manager when he was betting against his team?
I think he was the manager at that point.
He was a
I
manager.
know at one point he's a player coach, so I don't know.
I know there was one period of time where he was both player and manager, but I'm not sure whether he's still playing at that point.
I thought he was the manager when he was betting against his team, not a player.
I don't know.
Yeah. So.
I think.
Okay. So as we wrap up week number 3 and have that one in the books, got some good games, I think, going to be coming up this week. Some close ones, I predict, I should say, and some teams that definitely need to pull themselves together. I did not mention it early on, but so far as we are looking, the lead pipe locks, as it stands right now, Mitch is at 1-1 in the lead pipe locks. Dean is 0-2 in lead pipe locks. And the only thing that I am leading in right now is in the lead pipe lock, which is at 2-0. So you guys will see the numbers, how we're doing this season in our predictions this week. So hopefully next week we're going to send out requests to try to get a guest on there on the show next week. I know you guys tend to like that as well, to have someone else yakking beside the 3 of us. So I think that pretty much comes into wrap up the show for this week. So as we head around the table one last time, Dean, any final words you have over there?
No, not a whole lot. And just good luck to everyone in the games this week.
Okay. Mitch, any final words for you? Take us home.
No, I think only thing we have to do now is just let's get it.